Wildfires for dummies, because apparently y'all need this. Number one, first and foremost, the reason they are not using ocean water to put out these fires is because it would destroy the soil. Soil plus salt equals bad. Which leads me to number two, a lack of water infrastructure in California. The reason there is a complete lack of water infrastructure in California is because Gavin fucking Newsom never went through with building the infrastructure, despite all of Californians overwhelmingly voting on the $7.5 billion bill back in 2014. Even if we wanted to use the ocean water to put out fires, we can't do it because we don't have the resources to. Number three, and this is a biggie, it's not climate change, you just need to clean. Guys, this isn't a new concept. Nature's gonna nature all over the place. Debris will fall to the forest floor and will pile up quickly, and if it's not cleared by necessary controlled burn batches, then Mother Nature will come in and do it herself, which is exactly what's happening now. Which leads me to number four. It is political. Actually, the mayor of LA's decision recently to cut $17 million from the fire department's budget. And we can thank Gavin Newsom for his decision to reroute all of California's water to the ocean in order to prevent a useless fish from going extinct. And here's just a couple honorary mentions. Yes, Gavin, all of those things have happened, and they were very preventable things if it wasn't for your direct negligence. What you should have been focusing on is how to prevent these things from happening instead of now reaching the point where you have to pander for attention now that you let it happen. And for all of you dummies that don't know, the LA mayor, California governor, senators, and the current president and VP are all Democrat. So if you're looking for someone to blame, try the Democrats.
Friends, welcome in. So good to have you here on a Friday afternoon. Boy, we got a lot to cover. And we're going to get started with bringing in my co-host today. We'll get him into the picture here because we got a lot to talk about. Mr. Lewis Herms, how are you, my friend?
Howdy, howdy, Robert.
Oh, boy. We're having a streaming problem on the Renegade Media channel. But other than that, we're doing well.
Good. Glad to be here. Love being with you for sure. If she's not wrong about not using salt water, except California's been approved for over 30 years for desalination plants.
Yep.
I know the person that approved it in a local city near me, and they work phenomenally, and they're very cost effective too. So we could have had desalination plants all up and down the coast of California for decades ago, but here we are with a non-conspiratorial take on why we have these fires destroying everything.
They have been building a large desalination plant in Carlsbad, right by where my studio used to be, and they took the idea from Israel because Israel, desert, right?
Mhm.
But they have plenty of water all the time. They have desalination plants and they pull the water from the ocean and they have plenty of fresh water. One of the things that they do is they have towers that are 70 feet deep, and it's this the pressure of the water that pushes the water down through these screens that literally filter out the salt molecules. And
Yeah,
so they're not even
it's a
costing them
membrane
anything.
of
It's like
sorts.
gravity fed.
That's right. It's a membrane of sorts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And
excellent.
then you get the water without the salt in it, and it's just they just got to clean those membranes, I guess, every once in a while. Take the salt
And
out.
and then they could sell the sea salt. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know if you would think they would do both. So it's a no-brainer, and anybody is on this planet and still believes that our resources aren't renewable, you're flat wrong. Don't listen to
Yep.
the pundits, just do the research. So we take the water from the ocean, we use it someplace else, it goes back up in the atmosphere, and if the weather was not manipulated, it would go back wherever it's needed.
Very much so. And I really feel that the reason that this doesn't get done is because if you had people with plenty of water, right, they would be harder to control. They'd be more independent.
There
And
you
I think
go.
it's one of these control levers that they have on us is the
Yep.
water. Here in California, the electricity, the power grid. We're always having brownouts and blackouts, right? Don't
Yeah.
turn your air conditioner on after 4 o'clock. Wait a minute, that's when I get home.
Yeah. So people are screaming there's no conspiracy with the fire. It's like, okay, let's take the pragmatic approach. Let's say there's no conspiracy. But what there is you have a 60-year-old wooden power poles supporting 60-year-old wires in many, many areas that have trees that are overgrown on the wires themselves that are dry. No conspiracy there. That's just a factoid. Factoid, it's been over 20 years since we've had real fire abatement in the state of California. So that's just a factoid, right? In regards to that. Factoid, we've had 2 years of massive rainfall in California and virtually 7 or 8 months of drought this last 7, 8 months. That's just another factoid that you put out there. A factoid, the the water companies have been pleaded by fire stations to fill their tanks with water. That's a fact. They just have not done it. Fact, we're sending all this money to Ukraine and we're not using anything in the infrastructure. Fact, Gavin Newsom has denied virtually everything that would prevent these fires. These are just facts, guys. Fact. On record, these may be the highest wind gusts on record in January. Right? They don't generally get this type of Santa Ana winds in January, and they were massive. In some areas, like you said, yours wasn't too bad. In our areas, it was horrible. These are just facts we're laying out. Fact, they didn't have the water to put out the fires. Fact, you had over 400 homes burn in one single area. Well, in the history of towns burning down, they jump all over the place. It's not usually a wholesale burn. And we can go on and on and on and on and on, but there's no conspiracy. Just all those coincidences just line up together, and nature just did its job. When are people really going to take a deep breath and go, okay, let me get out of my delusion for a second and just look at the facts add up to this so-called tinfoil hat moment.
Yeah. Yeah, this was interesting. It caught my attention right away on Tuesday around a little after lunch. I guess it was mid-afternoon. And I just knew intuitively this is going to be big. And I stayed on this story until it was like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Tuesday night, I was still posting stuff and finding things. And as I could not believe, the fire department came up and they said, oh, this is a little fire. It started at 10:30. Get this. They said, in somebody's backyard. Now, who in their right mind, with wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour, where we have not seen a drop of rain here since maybe March
Right.
of 24, who would be lighting a fire in their backyard? You
Well,
know?
they got to blame it on somebody, don't they?
Well, yeah. Yeah, so this thing took off and it went really big, and I said, "This is a wrong place for a fire like that." Just to explain to people who don't understand Santa Ana winds, what in the world are they? Because I didn't know when I first moved to
Yeah,
California.
yeah.
My aunt in New York said, "Be careful of Santa Ana winds." And I'm like, "What the heck are they? Never heard of those before." Well, we're on the ocean, right on the coastal, so prevailing winds go from west to east, so they come from the ocean onto the land. That's why California's got mostly a temperate climate near the coast. And what happens in Santa Ana is they reverse. So you're getting winds coming from the hot desert. So the wind is usually warmer. Well, it's not really warm this time of year. I think it only got up to about 72, 73 here. Typically, when you have Santa Ana, it's 80, 90 degrees, and the humidity goes way, way, way down. The humidity was under 10% around here. So you've got no rain for months, right? Like you said, Lewis. You have winds coming the opposite direction of what they normally do. They're warmer. They weren't hot. They were warmer and extremely dry. Humidity was under 10% in a lot of places. So, I think you look at it and you say, okay, so there's two things going on. Number one, there was a natural setup, but then you ask, were the fires natural in that? And that's where you get into the whoop, nope, that doesn't work, right? So it seems like they took advantage of a naturally occurring situation. Is it really naturally occurring? Were those Santa Ana winds this time of year naturally occurring? Well, I've seen them in December. You're right, Lewis. I don't really see them in January. So maybe that was manipulated. Maybe not.
Yep. Don't know. Just a lot of coincidences.
A lot. And then you saw the fire, jumping from house to house. So I did a grok search and I said, how does a fire move from house to house? Good question to ask, right? I want to know.
Great question.
And yeah, there were a lot of different reasons. Now, a lot of the fires start under the eaves. That's how they get
I
in.
was just telling somebody this. Generally the only time that a fireproof tile roofed house will catch on fire is when fire licks under the eaves. But
Yep.
and here's the thing, and I don't mean to interrupt you. Those are generally one-story houses, not two-story, because the fire doesn't get up high enough to lick under the two-story house.
Well, in California, code is that those eaves have to be closed up and blocked off
Mhm.
for that reason. So if you look at this area probably had a lot of houses that were up to code that would have been fire protected, right? They would have had the tile roof or the cement tiles. They wouldn't have had the asphalt. They wouldn't have had the open eaves like on the East Coast. You just see the beams and they just paint them and there you go. But here they're all sealed for the most part. The houses are sealed,
Yeah.
so if the fire doesn't get in. So the other thing it said was that if one house is burning, the extreme heat, because the houses are in close proximity, the house next to it would catch fire. Now, the fire department was told pretty much right away on Tuesday when the structures started to burn. First, it was 2 houses, 5 houses, then it was 100. The numbers was spiking, and they were told that they are on a rescue mission only. They're not to try and put out the house fires because they were poorly staffed, to begin with. And if you think about a single house fire, if a single family home goes on fire, how long do the fire department have to stay there to put out the fire of one house,
Right.
right? And how many of them would have to work on that one fire to put it out? So they were told, we're not doing structure protection at all. We're just looking for search and rescue. All those that didn't want to get out, the fire was traveling so quickly and it was jumping from house to house. And yeah, there are some houses that didn't burn. Maybe they were far enough apart, but if you look at the photos are showing you that these houses were right on top of each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Coastal community, there's no land, there's no, they're right next to each other.
So I had an hour-long conversation. In fact, I know because I looked at my phone when we hung up. It was 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So it was an hour-long conversation with an actual firefighter today. And we were talking about the fires. Now he's in a different state, but him and his buddies were evaluating this fire, and they said everything is off on this. And he's a firefighter, and he
Mhm.
says when you have a situation where fire where houses will burn in succession like that, often they will sacrifice 4 or 5 houses and create an artificial fire line and just take those houses out. He says, and they didn't do that to one house. He goes, you pretty much say, sorry, you 4 or 5, but you just saved the rest of the neighborhood, right? He says
Yep.
they didn't even consider that. And he went on and on and on with the fire. And he thinks, and his buddies are thinking, and these are actual firefighters, that this is a man-made controlled environment, and they're not conspiracy theorists, and they're thinking something is very, very odd here, and it does not add up, is what he is saying.
Well, you saw the cars in the street where there are no trees, no bushes, completely burned out. And you say, okay, is it that because they're in proximity to the house? No, not really. There's other theories going on that it's the smart meters. Houses without the smart meters, they're saying didn't burn. Okay, there's a theory. Another theory is the fire got into the natural gas lines and went from house to house. That's hard to believe, but okay, that's a theory, right? And we had heard stories that because the winds were up at 80 miles an hour, gusting at that, not sustained winds. That's
Mhm.
a hurricane force starts at 75 miles an hour. So to give you some idea, this would be like a Category 1 hurricane. That's how strong the gusts were. People were saying that the embers were traveling as far as 3 miles from the point of origin and setting new fires. That's how the fire moves so quickly,
Mhm,
is that
mhm.
the embers get carried and then it jumps and jumps and jumps. So there's pieces that plausible, and then there are pieces that, no way, not believing it, not buying the story.
So I'm gonna blow you away right now. You ready?
Hmm.
When
Yep.
because you said smart meters. So I did some research. Out here, there's a company called Southern California Edison. It's now called Edison International, right? They supply the electricity to the houses. They also, by the way, they have smart meters for water, they have smart meters for gas. So I looked in the areas in 2012, the proposed areas where they wanted to have smart meters in within 10 years. You're going to be blown away at the cities. You will know it. Anybody from Southern California will know it. All of them are fire areas. You ready for this list? This is their list. You guys go to edison.com. This will knock your socks off. Communities in the upcoming installation phase include Agoura Hills, Calabasas, Camarillo, Canoga Park, Chatsworth, Hidden Hills, Malibu, Moore Park, Newberry Park, Oak Park, Simi Valley, Thousand Oaks, Topanga, Westlake Village, and a small part of Santa Rosa and Woodland Hills. That's like
Wow.
Fire Central.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Is it? I just got the what do you call it? The God bumps. I
Yep.
mean, that's fire. That's on their website, guys. I wasn't looking for specific cities. My search literally was saying Edison smart meters, and that's the first thing I came up with on their site. They literally are putting all of those where there's fires. Coincidence? I don't know. TikTok moment? Yes, I think so.
Yeah. No question. Right. Yeah. They had given us the power outage warning here. They said because of the high winds, they were going to turn the power off because we're in a rural area and trees and power lines don't mix very well during this time. They, in fact, did not turn off the power for that, but the power went out because apparently somebody drove into a transformer. Okay, that took out the power here. It also took out, strangely enough, the AT&T tower that's out here. So I'm still not able to connect with cellular in this area. I thought it was better today, but it turned out it can't hold a connection. So I did some testing. You're gonna like this, Lewis. Every website you ping, if you go into a DOS window on your Windows machine and you type trace route trace RT space and a website, when you look at the route, everything goes up through Los Angeles. Everything.
Oh wow.
Oh, why aren't we connecting? What's going on? Huh. Interesting, huh?
It is interesting. So,
Yeah.
what's your thought on this theory? Now, this is a tinfoil hat theory. What's your thought on this? Has to do with the 2028 Los Angeles, turning Los Angeles digital for the Olympics, which I think 3 years to do that is going to be ridiculously hard.
Yeah, not with the amount of destruction that we've seen there, but I think where my head goes here is look at the similarities between Paradise, Maui, and now Palisades.
And other than the fire, Asheville.
Yeah,
Yeah, these are land grabs.
yeah. Coastal land grabs, except for Asheville, but there was a lithium mine there, so that was a different reason. But you look at this, and it's like they're not letting the homeowners even go back in, except there are looters in there looting. Can you believe that?
Yeah, of course.
Organized crime,
It's
looters, by the way.
it's crazy, crazy.
They're being
Can I?
dropped off on vans, and yeah,
I'd like to use this as a promotional moment, guys. Go to Tuesday's show. I interviewed Michelle Melendez, who knows more about the Lahaina fires that will blow your mind. She's going to show you documents. She's going to show you patents. Will blow your mind. And she has a book. She's an award-winning author on the Great Maui land grab. But you guys got to go watch that show on Tuesday. It will absolutely knock your socks off. And she was all over it. And I know that's close to your heart, Robert, because you always say you don't want to forget about Lahaina.
yep, yeah. And I think you look at that and you say, okay, so now we're seeing the same thing. Well, maybe Paradise was the test, right? That was the test because they wiped out that town. That town has not been rebuilt, from what I understand.
Mhm.
There's somebody in our chat who lost their house in the Paradise fire. And we know a few. There's a couple of friends of ours that were up there, and they lost their home in that. And you know, are they rebuilding? Are they not rebuilding? I don't have updated information, but I know in Lahaina they're not issuing any building permits. So people are like, we want to rebuild, we want to rebuild. It's still blocked off.
Yep.
They're just not issuing any building permits. So you might own the land, but you can't do anything with it. So at some point they're going to snuff you out. They're going to say, we'll just give you $10,000 for your land because you can't build on it anyway. And
Yep.
here the story was in Pacific Palisades that the developers were looking to put condos along the beach like they do in Florida. If you go down to Miami and such, the beach is all condos, right? These condo towers. Well, they apparently they were looking to do that there. Well, they got to get rid of all these single family homes. Well,
Yep.
they're all gone now. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. She said there's thousands of homes that were burned, and I believe maybe if I remember the numbers, like 120 permits have been issued, and she goes they're in very suspicious areas, like,
Hmm.
and it probably people that are in the know. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I was 24 hours with zero connection to the real world and wanting to follow up on this and see what was going on. And during the day on Tuesday, there's an app out there that is really kind of cool. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. Here it is. Here, it's called Watch Duty. And this is an app we have on our phones here all over the place because, hey, we're in the wildfire area, so we got to pay attention to it. And I was updating this thing every few hours. There was the Palisades fire. Okay, that's pretty big. And then there was another fire. Then there was and by the time I went to bed, there were 6 fires in the area. Like, what's starting these things in these kind of conditions? Right? So now we're hearing a lot of people and are saying that a lot of this was started by arson because they found those videos of, the kids with the gas cans and the blow torches and such starting these fires. But they were all over the place. It's like fires just don't organically appear,
Hmm.
right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, ultimately, it would be arsons or smart meters. Who knows, right? But
yeah,
let's go with arsons. Just because it's arson doesn't mean it's independent. There's operators that do very sinister things all over the world, and if
yeah,
they want to activate them, they activate them. They go, here's what you got to do, and they'll do it. I mean, look at the the lady that is in charge of the Department of Water and Power in Los Angeles. makes $750,000 a year.
More than the president of the United States.
Yep. And she seems like a DEI hire. She does not seem very bright when she's talking. And because, you pay somebody $750,000, they can be controlled. And it really seems like that's going on. And Robert, I don't know if you saw the one of the main LA County supervisors that was speaking on camera about this. She has a cross that's upside down,
I saw that. Yeah.
hanging from her neck. I mean, it's just all these weird, really things. I don't know. I don't think they add up very well.
Well, LA was, or is, I should say, very odd anyway with that the DEI stuff, and they just do all this craziness that's going on there, and they spend their time and attention on, I call them social issues. They don't care about the infrastructure, and a lot of people are waking up to that now and going, what in the heck's going on? It's like you pay attention to the social issues after your infrastructure is taken care of, right? That's sort of the next level of the Maslow's pyramid, right? Would be those kind of things. But, the foundation's got to be taken care of. Now they're waking up and going, hey, we never took care of the foundation. In fact, they made it worse.
Yeah.
They literally told the fire department that they were not going to do fire hydrant testing right now. They were supposed to do it, end of this last year, beginning of this year. And they told them it was postponed. And then they have these fires and there's no water. Can you figure that out, Lewis?
No, I can't. Can you put that video back up? I really appreciate you having that video up there, because I just want somebody to explain this to me in chat or in the comments. I'm just curious. Do trees in Los Angeles not burn? Because if according to the information you're finding, the fire is so hot that it will burn a neighbor's house, but not hot enough to catch a tree on fire that hasn't had water in God knows how long.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's an odd one to understand. It's like,
maybe trees don't
trees
burn
don't burn and fall down. It's the leaves that burn off them,
yeah,
typically.
yeah, you would think, right? But they look like they have a lot of leaves on them. I don't get it. Maybe trees don't burn anymore. Maybe that's a new phenomenon. Maybe it's a GMO Monsanto modified tree that is immune to fire.
If you look at those streets, it's like how there's a house across the street. If the theory is that one house is burning so hot, catches the next one on fire,
right.
Look at across the street, how what distance they are from each other. So one row might burn left to right, but front to back, I don't get that.
When it's not even the street that's between them; it's the front yards also that you can add to that, right? There's
Correct,
there's a good example. So this does not seem plausible to me. But you know what? I'm a tinfoil hat wearing freak, so.
I think there's a lot more to uncover here, and thankfully there's a lot of us doing the research right now, and I think that's really important to do that, to keep digging, because there's more to learn here than meets the eye, and it's real important for us to keep doing that, like we did in Maui, and we kept up the pressure on that, and there are more truth tellers coming forward and whistleblowers, and they have to feel like they're comfortable. Juan had warned us. He said it's going to be tough between now and January 20th, and truthfully, the battle does not end January 20th. If they get to the point they inaugurate Trump, which we're expecting will happen, the deep state's not going to stop. They're going to keep doing things. They're trying to put as many sticks in the spokes as they can, so he can't do the things that he's promising to do. They want to stop him at all costs, right? They tied him up in his first term, right, with lawfare.
Yeah, and COVID, and I agree with you, and I think there's a lot of sickness going around. By the way, I talked to somebody else today. Excuse me, but it's ironic I would cough on that moment.
Speaking of sickness,
I talked to a lot of somebody today, and he even mentioned that 3 of his friends have died in the last 2 weeks from some real suspicious cough in North Carolina and Tennessee, right? And there's that Carolina cough we've heard of, so on and so forth. They've also had that weird fog going on there. I said to him, and I'm not going to say his name, I said, next thing that you're going to hear, he goes, oh, by the way, they all died on a ventilator, just to be very clear. I said, next thing you're going to hear is they're going to start reporting these as bird flu illnesses, even though they're not. So I think we need to really be prepared for the deep state just doing as much damage as they possibly can. And you're right. The more havoc they can cause, the more distraction in their minds it would cause President Trump. So the war is real. That doesn't mean we're not winning. It doesn't mean we won't win. It just means it's real. We need to be knowing that 2,000 years of evil rule are just not going to run away and hide because President Trump gets inaugurated on the 20th, which is still yet to be seen.
Right. 10 days out, right? We're the 10th today,
Right.
so 10 days will be the 20th, and we'll have to see, how that goes. Will it even take place in Washington? I mean, we're thinking it's going to be there, but who knows, right?
Yep. Agreed.
So everyone was talking about that inauguration. Everyone's talking about this being part of this war. We looked at North Carolina. North Carolina, nowhere really near the election, but that may have been something different. There was a story of a fire in the Bronx this morning. There's a power plant in Texas, I think, that blew up yesterday. So are we being attacked is really the question at this point. From either the deep state or China or whatnot. Well, China would just be paid actors at that point.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's a great point. It feels like we're being attacked. It's for all this stuff to happen, and most of the things we're talking about are post January 1st, just in the last 10 days.
Yep.
I mean, wow.
That's what I told my cousin. I said, "Boy, what a year this has been." Oh wait, it's only January 10th.
Exactly. You're 136 of the way there.
Yeah, literally. I mean, whoa, man. uh, Crazy. All right, so let's go look at. I'm going to move this one up a little bit here. I'm going to just try to do this in order that kind of makes sense. This is a chart, just so we know where we are. This is the annual rainfall for Los Angeles from 1877 to 2024. And the red line there just indicates the average. So you see some years very wet, some years very dry. This is a very dry year. What do you
Yep.
see?
And I see if you look at the two previous years to that was the only time on this chart where there's been such a high level of back to back in a row. You see that?
Right.
So I see nothing in this year, right? And I see saturation the last 2 years. Are you seeing the same thing? By the way, thank you for this
Yeah,
chart.
we got flooded out the last 2 years in a row. Last year we got flooded out 4 times. We couldn't get out of here, couldn't get to town, and that usually happens once every 7 years, and it was 2 years back to back. So that was very unexpected. And this year, not a drop. It's totally bone dry out there. We're picking up kindling wood and just taking the branches and going snap because they're so dry, right?
Wow.
So yeah, it's a very dry year this year, no question.
It's actually, if I'm right, Robert, if it's showing there's never been, and you're talking, when you say this year, you're talking 2024, right?
Yeah, the rainy season for us usually begins end of December.
Mhm.
January tends to be the rainiest of them, and then it tapers off. And by March, maybe you get a day here, a day there. We have basically in San Diego 9 days of rain a year. Believe it or not, that's what the average is.
Yeah.
We usually
Wow.
get a year's worth of rain in one day, but that's the way it works around here.
Wacky. Just wacky.
Yeah. And everyone's saying, "Well, it's global warming. It's global warming." Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's really what we're looking at here, guys. All right, let's go back to the image stack, as we like to call it, the stack of stuff. Um, this was Nick Sorter posting this today about the reservoirs in Los Angeles. Bone dry. That
Mhm.
thing's supposed to be filled up. 116 million gallons of water supposed to be in there, and that feeds all the fire hydrants and all the water down below where you see the fires. Why was it empty?
Oh, well, I can't put my tinfoil hat on again, can I?
You're gonna wear that thing out today, I'm sure. I'm serious.
Um, it's very obvious that these so-called non-events are all connected into an event.
Yeah.
And somebody just posted that pretty much all the cabal was looking for is just waited for the wind to blow. Um, I would go as far as based on the fact that right here on my phone I have 230 real patents on weather manipulation. I think they might have created the wind to blow. I know that's crazy, but 5 years ago, if I would have told you there were patents on weather modification, you would have told me I'm crazy. And now there's over 230 that I have literally
Yeah.
right on my phone. You can find those on Yandex and Brave, by the way.
Hmm. Yeah, the thing to pay attention to there is like if the wind is already there, did they amplify it because there was a lot more wind than is normal during these Santa Ana winds. We had in San Diego in 2007, we were evacuated. We had 70-mile-an-hour gusts, and we lost 3,500 homes in San Diego. Right, so that was the big fire. Phoebe and I went up on a mountaintop, and I panned the camera 360 degrees around. There were fires in every direction. It's crazy. That was in 2007, long time ago. We haven't seen that since, but now we have this in LA, which is 80-mile-an-hour gusts, which are much higher. They predicted, Lewis, they were saying up to 100-mile-an-hour gusts were possible.
Yeah, no, well, we were told up here they got up to about 120. I don't know if that's true or not. Um, I can tell you that based on what I saw in my backyard, I was blown away. And the challenge is, Robert, I was trying to get video of it, but it's just a gust, right? So it gusts, and I get my camera out, and there's nothing. 20-mile-an-hour winds. I turn it off, and then it gusts again. I'm like, because it's just like a hit. It's really crazy. It's like a punch. It's like a punch of air, and
Yeah.
it tears things apart. It's just wacky.
Yeah, though it was weird here too because you'd have that strong blast of wind and dead calm and like where's the wind? And then it would happen again. It was an odd kind of situation. I don't think I've ever experienced that. Yeah, just a comparison. Maui Paradise and Los Angeles. You're starting to see a pattern, aren't we?
Yeah, and then so let me again add Asheville to that. I would like to see in say 2035 what was built into place. If we see a pattern here, um, we're in a whole lot of trouble because that means the cabal is not losing. I think we're not going to see a pattern. I think we're going to stop it, but it seems land grabby ish to me.
Yeah, it really does. That area of Los Angeles, that Pacific Palisades area is beautiful. I've been up there many times. Been in that West Hollywood area. When I first got here, I was going up there a lot. If you want to meet people, you go to Hollywood. Everybody wants to meet you there. It's the funniest thing. It's just like, hey, there's a pretty girl behind the counter at Starbucks. She wants to give you her phone number. Not only that, she's going to give you her whole Z card as well. So you'll have her height, her weight, her measurements, the whole thing. Right? It's just the way Hollywood is.
Yeah.
So
She'll
yeah,
also give
I
you
was
an
up.
STD, but don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah. So I was going up there a lot. I was working with a producer for National Geographic for a while, coaching with him, and met interesting people up there. It was kind of cool. So to see this get wiped out like this is kind of interesting because it's like I know these areas. I've been down those streets. I've been on Sunset Boulevard many times, and you saw the flames rip through there. And it's fascinating to me that the houses along the beach, there's no brush there. There are just houses,
Yep.
and the other houses are on the other side of the highway. How'd they get so burned up? Everything's gone. Everything right up and down that coast is gone.
Well, Robert, this is a brilliant conversation because here's my question. So I live really fairly close to Malibu, within a half hour. I've
Hmm.
driven there, and when I had a construction company, I did a lot of work, Malibu, Pacific Palisades, and all in the area. There's a lot of houses that are right along the beach, and you know what they have in common? They're made out of concrete. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying. You see all of them in a row burnt up, which doesn't make any sense to me because I've done work at those houses, and they're if anybody can corroborate this, if you've driven down PCH, you'll see maybe a house made out of wood, a house made out of like a metal infrastructure, and then houses made out of concrete all over the place because they
Yep.
go for that modern, boring, square style, straight up with the big, huge windows. You know, not something that I would like to live in, but from the inside, they're pretty cool because they have such a great view, right? Those are concrete. How are we burning up concrete like that? Wholesale all across the coast. These are just questions to
And
ask.
all these are built to fire code, right? They're
Well,
meant to resist fire.
fire and earthquakes are heavy code here, and I know as a general contractor that one of the biggest pain in the butts that we had is making sure that we were always on code, right? Because there's so many restrictions, and then you have the environmental restrictions on top of it, on even how far you can, how close you can even plant a tree next to the house. There's a
Yep.
lot of rules out there here that should prevent a fire on a structure. By the way, a lot of homes are built also with aluminum two by fours, not standard two by fours. So it's a lot of oddness. I'll say that, and I know if we should probably bring up some old pictures, but if any ever has driven PCH, it's filled with concrete buildings,
Yep.
ugly
Absolutely.
concrete buildings worth 5, 10 million, $20 million.
That's some expensive gold-plated concrete there.
Yep.
Oh, Mayor Nutjob in LA cut the fire department's budget by 17 million. Now there's a story memo that leaked that she demanded the fire department cut an extra 49 million 1 week before the wildfires broke out. And they also fired a lot of them because they refused to take the COVID jab.
That's right. And I remember that. It's crazy.
So yeah, Mayor, I call her Mayor Nutjob because this is a DEI hire as well. And Vandersteel took my idea. DEI, actually DIE. If you're dyslexic, it's like it's the same idea. Yeah. So yeah, she's going after, and you look at where they sent the money that they didn't give to the fire department. Where'd they send it? Where do you think, Lewis? Where do you think it went?
Well, I would say they're pockets, but you tell me.
Yeah, it went to the DEI initiatives. A lot of it went to housing and feeding the illegals, or millions of illegals in California, right? We never hear about it. That border in San Diego is wide open. They just come up here and they're welcomed here. They want them. LA is full of them.
Yes, it
So they
is.
got to do something with them. So the money went there. You think that's going to piss people off when they find that out?
Just another coincidence, Robert. Take your
Oh,
tinfoil
it's
hat on.
coincidence. It's all the time. There's always a damn coincidence.
Yeah.
Let's
Beautiful
take a
thing
quick
about your
pause.
hair color. The beautiful thing about your hair color is you have a permanent tinfoil hat on there.
True.
It's
Horrible haircut, by the way. My stylist, I have a new girl who cut my hair, did a horrible job. It's sticking out. She didn't. Not going back to that one.
come visit us, and my wife will fix it for you.
Okay, we'll make that happen. Hey, tell us about what our buddy Matt is up to.
Well, Matt, by the way, you guys, something amazing to mention. If you love silver, if you love free silver, tomorrow, I have a show going up tomorrow with Matt. We just did like a little 20-minute deal. It was a lot of fun. You guys will love it. Giving away 20, listen to this, 20 silver ounce coins. Actually, American Eagle silver ounce coins, the real deal, silver 1 ounce coins, 20 of them. You have to watch the show. You have to be following my channel. Uh, and that's gonna be amazing, but that's tomorrow. That'll be up about, I think, 10 a.m. Pacific. So, just go to veritymetals.com or call Matt directly or text him. He's looking to give away George Magazine special ones that have JFK Jr. on the front and Trump on the back. So you can call him on that too. So 480-717-9081. A guy that's just gonna take care of you, be honest, give you the right direction, and if you go to do business with him, he's going to give you the fairest price. So love Matt, veritymetals.com.
One thing that is real impressive about him, and people can price shop this on their own if they want to, his commissions are lower than anybody else. So the upsell they have, or what they add, what do they call that? Where they sell the silver is selling at this price, the margin, I guess it is, that they sell a little bit more. His is the lowest of anybody. So you're going to buy silver or gold from him. You're not going to overpay for it, which is cool.
Yeah, I absolutely. And real quick, Ben's asking, can he deliver the contest silver coins to the 51st state? I think they're COVID approved, so he'll probably be able to do that.
The 51st, they're going to Greenland first, or are we going to Canada? Which one is it, 51st or 52nd? I want to know how they're going to change the flag. They're going to put more stars on the flag. We got a lot of upgrading to do. Everyone's got flags everywhere.
Yeah, maybe it'll
Oh,
just be a
your
flag
flag
with
only
all.
has 50 stars. You're not the right one. You got to get rid of
Yeah,
that flag.
sorry.
It's no longer valid.
Maybe it'll be a flag with all stars and no stripes. Because if we take all of South America, we'll have like 78 states.
There we go. That could be interesting, huh? We'll have to change the national anthem. All stars, no stripes.
Yes. Well, it's the Star Spangled Banner. It's not the Stripe Spangled Banner.
Exactly. This guy is getting views like crazy on this video, and when you see it, you'll know why. Watch this.
Tell you what, Hollywood and Los Angeles, California, they're getting so much airtime on the news. You got reporters actually crying. That's how bad it is. But remember a little town called Asheville, North Carolina? Do we remember that? My favorite is watching Harrison Ford, a multi-billionaire, get into his car and act like he's sad that his mansion's burning down so he can drive in his Mercedes-Benz to his next property. Or the fact in a week we're probably going to see all kinds of promos from these celebrities asking for us to help them. But the real juicy story mainstream media is never going to tell you about is that homeowners in California lost their fire insurance 2 months prior to all this bullshit that's happening right now. Kind of like in the mountains of North Carolina where nobody had flood coverage. Once in a lifetime event from the Bible times happens. You see what's going on here? It's kind of like a plan.
Wow. I cannot say it better. Good job, dude.
Good job, dude, for sure. The fire insurance thing is interesting because all the neighbors around here were, talking in the Facebook group about their policies getting cut off. They didn't finish them. The insurance company said, we're not honoring this anymore. And then when we dug in and found out why, it was because of the laws that Newsom enacted that the insurance companies couldn't raise premiums when there are a lot of fires and they have to pay out a lot. They kind of share that cost amongst all the premium holders, right? All the policy holders. So they couldn't do that anymore. So they basically said, well, it's not feasible for us to do business in California offering fire insurance. So they all left. They all stopped.
That's a whole nother
One of the
name.
hardest things is fire insurance.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother name for trickle-down economics. It's because clearly it was set up. My wife, who's a hairdresser, as you know, she got multiple reports of getting her clients getting notices saying months ago, your fire insurance is done, no fire insurance, no fire insurance. So I would ask a person in California, why have insurance? Because if you don't have fire insurance and you're not in a flood area, you have fire insurance because of an earthquake, maybe, which by the way, an earthquakes traditionally that level towns, the government ends up paying for those anyways.
Right, because it's an act of God and the insurance company doesn't cover it.
So other than insurance to protect your home from theft, there's almost no reason for it whatsoever. So how about we put the insurance companies out of business? I think maybe that's a better idea. Just stop buying their products.
You have theft and you have liability. That's what the homeowners is. And you know what the interesting thing is the mortgage companies scream at you to get fire insurance, and you go, well, nobody's offering it here. What do you want us to do, right? And they're like, well, we're gonna call the mortgage in. This is a threat. So people are between a rock and a hard place in this one. And you see it in the Facebook group all the time. People are complaining. And there's like companies that do offer it, but they're out of state companies, and the premiums for fire insurance went sky high. You're paying $1,000 a year. All of a sudden it's $12,000 or $13,000 for the same policy a year later. It's just like, what? It's insane. Crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's the world we live in. I don't know if we want to keep it this way. We better figure it out. So is it possible to confront a sitting governor out in public?
Oh, I'm so pissed about this. I can't. In fact, you play it, and I'm going to debunk this thing immediately.
Okay.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call?
I
Because I
can't- it
don't
doesn't-
believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So
There's
let's
no
get
cell
it.
service.
Let's get it. I want to be
That's
here
what
when you
I'm
call the
doing.
president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they
I
lost
know.
their homes. They lost
I know.
2 homes because they were
I know.
living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there
resources
no
to deal
water
with
in the
this.
hydrants,
That's
Governor?
all being. That's all literally.
Is it going to be
being-
different next time?
It has to be. Has to
Right.
be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally, you know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I would. I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can. I've
But
been
you're
doing
not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure
Thanks,
you
you
do.
guys.
Can
He needs
I
to
have
call
an
the president.
opportunity
He
to at
needs
least
to-
tell
he needs to
people
call
you're
the
doing what
president.
you're saying you're doing?
Thank you. He's-
Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact
yes.
information?
Right
right
there.
now. Right.
Thank you.
Woo. Yeah. Not buying it.
All right, here we go. That didn't look like Governor Newsom at all. That's one of the worst body doubles or mask guys that I've seen. So, number one. Number two, a sitting governor, you never can walk up on it, much less run up on them like these ladies. That's just impossible. That is impossible unless they have the absolute worst Secret Service, worse than President Trump had when he got shot. That does not ever happen. Plus, it seems like these were actors. Can I say that on both sides? This was wacky. It makes no sense whatsoever. If people don't believe in conspiracies, let me just ask you this question. Do you really think that was Gavin Newsom? Number one. Number two, do you really think a governor of the most powerful state in our union, you can just run up on him like that? Is that what you believe? And do you really think that he would be showing his phone, which would have the White House's direct phone number on it, to this lady? There's no way that would happen. He would say, I'm calling him. He's not going to say, look, because it's going to have the phone number right on there, right? It's not going to do that. So fake, phony, false. That's
especially
just my
that
opinion,
that
though, and
being filmed. He's not going to have that phone.
Yeah, it's just crazy. See, and I'm a tinfoil hat wearing wacko. I get it, but I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah, he's calling the president, but he has no cell signal, so the call's not going through.
Yeah, because the governor wouldn't have satellite either.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on.
He's just on the regular cell system like everybody else, you know?
Yeah,
It's like that's all it
of
is.
course he is. It's like T-Mobile, hey, dial 611. Yeah, I'm in Pacific Palisades trying to save lives here. I'm trying to contact Sleepy Joe, and I can't get through. Can you hold? Okay. Yeah.
Hold
No,
for the
I don't
next
want to
available
buy
please.
anything. I do not want to upgrade my plan. Thank you very much. I mean, what's really going on here?
Yeah. So much of it doesn't make any sense. And just, people are upset about Californians for voting him in. Number one, Californians never voted him in. Number two, we voted to oust him on the recall.
Yeah.
That was stolen. And we did not vote him in for a second term. So 3 times that election was stolen to keep him in power.
Yeah,
So
and
you
if
keep blaming Californians. No. We
No,
didn't.
and
We didn't
I
vote.
get. It's funny you said I'm getting pissed because on my X account and Telegram and Facebook, they're all talking about, oh, you Californians, you deserve this. I'm like, okay, just effing stop. Robert is not a stupid guy. He's one of the smartest guys I know. And I can tell you flat out, the recall election, my wife and I talked to 26 people. 26, by the way, unbiased. We didn't know if they're liberals or conservative. 26 out of 26 said, we're getting rid of Gavin Newsom. Yet he wins 67% of the vote. Well, actually, they first posted it was 66.6%. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. So he wins 67% of the vote. Yet 26 out of 26 of people that we talked to said, no way, this guy's out of here. And so for somebody to be blaming this on liberal Californians, it's really pissing me off, to be honest with you, because this is not a liberal state. You've been sold that message. And if you still believe that, you're asleep. Wake up. California's been stolen constantly. Washington is stolen. Oregon is always stolen. The infrastructure set in Washington alone guarantees a steal every single time.
And Alaska too.
Yeah.
Ranked choice voting. Yeah.
Yeah. So come on,
Sarah
guys.
Palin got her hat handed to her. She would have won that hands down if they didn't have that crappy ranked choice voting up there. You know,
Amazing.
I think California is the most corrupt, and we keep thinking Maricopa County, yeah, but this is much bigger on a much bigger scale than Maricopa.
Yeah, the whole state for sure.
Yeah. It's at every level here, and there's a lot of people. I don't know many true blue liberals around. All my friends here, they all understand, and they're not Newsom fans, and not because I have friends based on politics. I don't care about their politics, but I don't see many people. There's a handful that are asleep and don't know the woke. There's that group, but that's a very small minority. That's not the majority at all.
No, I agree with you. 100.
Yeah, so 3 times the election was stolen in his favor. So he's here because they want that puppet there. And Van der Steel has been saying that, was it Ann Van der Steel? No, I don't think it was her. It was somebody else was saying it's like this is going forward. And they want him to be president. So all the garbage that you see going on in California, they want it to be on a national level because this has worked out so well. Yeah.
Crazy.
Let's take a quick moment and talk about screwbigGov.com. You guys want to go check this website out. This is Lewis's website. Your seat's scrolling by. Thank you, Lisa, for doing the nice little scroll video. Appreciate that. There's his lovely wife. She supports Lewis. Incredible. She deserves a lot of accolades for what she does to keep the ball rolling over there, because Lewis is just running full tilt all the time. So go over to ScrewBigGov, find the films that he's done, and also there's still information on helping out the victims of North Carolina, HurricaneHell.com, still accepting donations for that, because FEMA is kicking people out of hotels today. And that's going to cause a lot of challenges. There were lines miles long, people looking for propane to keep the heat going. And it's just kind of crazy over there right now. So hurricanehell.com, you'll see a donate button if you want to help out. That would be really appreciated. You want to follow me online? I am at renegademedia.tv, or you can follow me also on Telegram at Renegade Media. And I know I've been blasting the channel with hundreds of posts from the fire, because that is a massive story. Probably one of the biggest fires of our time here. So I think it was just important to do that. So follow me, renegademedia.tv, or at Renegade Media on Telegram. And that's how you keep up with the both of us, because we both have a lot of stuff going on. Right, Lewis?
Yeah, for sure. And in regards to Hurricane Hell, we've got a great donation. There's 5 full pallets, full 4x4 pallets filled with donations sitting in Tucson that we're having trouble getting to North Carolina. I tried to commission a truck today, and it would have cost me $6,000. That's not financially viable in order to get it there. Now, based on the donations, I do have enough money to pay for fuel to get somebody there. So if anybody wants to contact us that's willing to put these on the back of a truck, or you have a van, or not a van, but a moving van or something that you can put these in. There's 5 4x4 pallets. I think they weigh about 2,500 pounds total. we'd love to get that stuff to needy people in North Carolina, but we're just financially, it's really tough. So go to just email me directly at screwbiggov at protonmail.com, screwbiggov at protonmail.com. And if you want to help financially, just go to hurricanehell.com and you can donate. But we're gonna get these there somehow. But wow. So a one-way rental was costing us, and I have the driver for free. She's literally sitting in Arizona waiting to drive it, but we never thought it would be with fuel, $6,000. By the way, that came with a discount that they were very, very nice to give me. So very expensive.
It's crazy expensive. Really, just out there. But yeah, anybody who can help out, please do. They can definitely use it. The New York Post had a interesting cover today. I know some people look at the New York Post and don't know, but this is kind of interesting. Even the Hollywood stars are bashing the failed Democratic leaders as state smolders. California reaming. We dropped the D. It's kind of interesting. He's dropped the D, dropped the Democrat, dropped the D in dreaming. That's kind of a nice play there they did. I like that. I like that cover.
Wow.
Well, let's start with Jillian Michaels. One comment in here people don't like, but I think the rest of it is accurate.
The governor should resign. People are dead. Homes have burned. It is not your first rodeo. It is not. And when you know that you have a state that is prone to fire, and I'm going to give it to you, you've got global warming. You have literally a tinderbox. Isn't this the part where you take the highest income tax, highest sales tax, highest gas tax, and rebuild the infrastructure? I'm sorry. And the reason for me this is super serious is because this guy wants to be your president. This now goes from a California problem to a countrywide problem. Like, I get it. He's got good hair. We've got much bigger problems, okay?
He's got good hair. Hey, that solves it right there.
Yeah. Now, I know you pointed out that people may be upset probably because of her global warming comment, but she did preface it with, I'll give this to you, almost like baiting them, saying, okay, you can talk about global warming all the time, but here's what's really happening.
Yep. Yeah. So she's just one of many celebs that were talking about this, and I'll give you a couple more here. Mel Gibson, who was being interviewed by Joe Rogan while his house was burning. So you saw the video of him walking through his house today. He's criticized Newsom for the handling of the wildfires in California, suggesting that the governor's policies contributed to the disaster. Gibson made these comments during an appearance on the Rogan Experience podcast. California's burning. He didn't know if his house was still going to be there as he was being interviewed. Yeah. James Woods, the other one, has expressed frustration. James Woods, did you see the video he posted? The fire was licking at his backyard.
I did.
And he said, okay, it's time to leave. And he left. He went down the hill a little bit, and then he literally watched his house burn. He's expressed frustration with Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass, Mayor Nutjob, over the response to the wildfires. Particularly after his home was destroyed in the Palisades fire. Woods has used his platform on X to voice these criticisms. So it's good to see Hollywood kind of waking up to this whole thing. This is Sarah Michelle Gellar. She has been vocal in her dissatisfaction with the management of evacuations during the LA wildfires, focusing her criticism on the traffic gridlock and overall crisis response. Okay, well, there was traffic. Yeah, people didn't know what to do. We got it. There's always traffic in LA. Whitney Cummings also joined the list of celebrities denouncing Newsom and Bass during the fires, highlighting the state's unpreparedness. And finally, the most Republican of all, this one, Cher has taken a swipe at Newsom over the state's homeless problem, indicating her frustration with the governance of this particular issue. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry to bust your monitors with that face, but hey.
I know. Thank you for that. Let's step back to Mel Gibson, because there's another comment he made. By the way, this will get me completely banned off of YouTube. I don't give a hell. By the way, this is a quote, YouTube. Quote, Mel Gibson on Joe Rogan said, I had 3 friends cure their stage 4C. Let me give myself a chance with fenbendazole and Ivor, you know what. That was his quote. The stuff is coming out, folks, and this is real and this is huge. I hate that I had to play word games there, but I don't want to keep losing all my YouTube accounts. I know Zuckerberg's on my team now, though, so I probably won't lose Facebook over that.
Do you think Zuckerberg's on your team?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
boy.
Zuckerberg
Administration,
loves
they were
me.
trying to roll out the vaccine program, and now I'm generally like pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance the vaccines are more positive than negative, but I think that while they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who is basically arguing against it, and they pushed us super hard to take down things that were honestly were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, you know, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that
it was
that talk
people.
about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration. I think it was I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was.
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly?
Yeah, not involved in them directly in his company. I'm not buying that. And who is this guy anyway? He doesn't look like Zuckerberg at all.
It doesn't look, I know, but here's what's interesting. He claimed that he wasn't bullied into it. That's an outright lie. He absolutely was bullied into it. By the way, according to, I just did a search, he's worth $218 billion, right? But yet the administration can bully him into the fact that he's saying he didn't, that was a lie. We remember so many people during COVID losing their Facebook accounts and
I got shadow
getting
banned too.
yeah, so that's just an outright freaking lie. I mean, that is just a bold-faced lie when he said he didn't cave into that. 100% he did. And he got, but if you can get a quarter trillionaire, can you imagine my meme saying that? A quarter trillionaire can be bullied by anybody? Please, because they run the show. DARPA has been running Zuckerberg for a long time. But Robert, you seem to be wearing your tinfoil hat a lot lately.
Yeah, well, you know, when the buttons don't add up, then you have to look somewhere else, right? So I think Zuckerberg is doing a CYA here. I think after his conversation with Trump, he feels comfortable coming out with some of this stuff, which, I don't buy for a second. He wasn't involved in the conversations. Your platform, dude. You know what I mean? Of course you're involved in the conversations, especially, censoring and literally harming 50% of your audience. There's no small potatoes here. I mean, they lost billions of dollars in ad revenue. I know so many people, business owners, that said, Facebook started with the censorship, not another dime's going there. We stopped advertising on there after they started doing that. We pulled it. Nobody's advertised. We were spending a couple of $1,000s a month at some point. Right? I know people are spending up to $1 million in ads, and they're having a hard time finding other platforms, but they're like, we'd rather suffer that way than continue to fund this thing. It's very un-American.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. How many ads are you placing on Facebook this week? Are you coming back? A couple of people have said, "Hey, Zuck's not going to censor anymore," so they're going to try coming back and see what happens.
Ay, Dios mío. I'm still I'm battling Elon right now on his so-called uncensored platform that I'm highly shadow banned on. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's challenging to navigate the social media landscape. When X was taken over by Elon, I started streaming our show on it, and I think it was a Truthathon was the first one that I streamed. I was like, all right, if I lose the account, I lose the account. I have 20,000 followers. Let's go. Nothing happened. I'm like, this is interesting. Maybe something has changed. So then I started doing a little bit more posting and reposting and wanted to see, and nothing happened. It was kind of interesting. So I think, we dip one big toe in with Facebook and see where it goes. Did he really fire all his fact checkers? A lot of blue-haired people on the unemployment line. Maybe that's what we got to look for, right?
Well, our friend Doug White, you guys, if you don't know his Facebook page, you should just go there, because what he does all day long is he tests Facebook to see how long it's going to take before they take him down. Right? Kevin Pascoe does the same thing. So if you really want to know, just contact Doug White and we'll see if they've gotten rid of the censorship or not, because he knows how to pull their buttons and he does it constantly. And he gets knocked off 30 days, I guess he calls it jail, 30 days in jail, so on and so forth, all the time. So knowing Doug, I should text him, but he's probably testing Facebook out right now.
Yeah, and when did he fire these people? There was no date given. It would be interesting to know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if they're going to go to community notes like X does, okay, great. But there's still censorship happening on X. It's not totally gone yet.
Well, shadow banning, 100% is happening on X.
That's censorship, yeah. Another form
That's
of it.
and that's worse, by the way, guys. The reason why we talk about shadow banning and why that's worse than getting your account deleted. Let me explain why. When your account gets deleted, people notice, and you have a right to complain outwardly. Say, "Hey, they deleted my account. Oh my Lord, can you believe this is happening?" Scream at the top of the roof, and you get people who go, "Wow, I can't believe that." Censorship is real. But when they find a way to suppress the views, the impressions that people see, and you're screaming about it, nobody listens, because they're like, that doesn't sound right. It's not effective. Da, da, da. So it's actually a genius way to do it. But you know what else it does? And this is what my wife, Araceli, believes. It puts people in a state of confusion and sometimes depression where they just give up. They're like, I can't do the work anymore, right? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Nobody's seeing it. And maybe that's their goal too. I don't know. So, do I appreciate what Elon's done and open it up? Yeah, but either he still has some infiltrators in there, or he's got some work to do. Something's going on.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, and the other one that we have not cracked at all is YouTube. I'm looking for something to happen on that platform, and just nothing. I tested my YouTube account the other day. I wanted to see, because it's been shadow banned since 2020. Literally, I think it was March or April of 2020 when my videos went nowhere, got 0 views. So I put a couple of things up there. Nowhere. It's just like went 0, 0, 0. I'm like, there's no way I got 0. I have 600 people following or something. Somebody would have to have seen that video. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I may need to start
I got a
notes if I want to
strike.
use YouTube.
I think our last Friday video, I think, is the one that gave me a strike on YouTube. Something that was said about big pharma. Who knows what it was, but it was a big pharma comment. And by the way, if you want to get banned on YouTube, anybody, just say something about big pharma.
Yep.
They are so up big pharma's butt. It's crazy. I know YouTube, you're listening right now, so you are so up big pharma's ass.
Miss Beth only uses YouTube to learn how to fix things. I do too. I think that's probably
It's
the best
great
use
for
of that.
that. Yes, yes. I've learned so much about video editing on YouTube. Robert, you and I have talked about this offline. It's a fantastic platform.
It is.
It is amazing there. It is so organized and so well run, and everything about it is just amazing. The challenge is it's run by the cabal, in my opinion.
It really has to be, because it would be so perfect without the censorship, right? And the reach is really good. The discovery, you can discover new content, new videos. They do that really well. Rumble doesn't do that very well at all. And you got to understand, YouTube is born out of Google, right? So they have the world's best search engine. So all of that stuff and the algorithms that they use, and you start watching a video on how to edit video, and then all of a sudden you get more of the things you're interested in. They use an algorithm similar to Facebook and similar to Twitter or X and all the rest of that, and they do a really good job of it. You don't see that on nascent platforms like Rumble. Rumble, they're probably 10 years away from getting to that point. It's got a lot of time to develop that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would indicate they may even have some special censoring and banning algorithms too, because my original YouTube account got deleted, flat out deleted, no warning, no nothing. The day I happened to hit 25,000 followers and 1 million views the exact same day.
Wow.
And then I didn't know. And at 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm getting text messages, from the other side of the world, the UK, saying, "Hey, where's your YouTube account? Where's your YouTube account?" I go, "It's fine. What's it? I'm sure I just hit. I think I just hit 1 million. Da 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 da. It's great. Everything's wonderful." Gone. It was like history out of there. No warnings. So amazing. So maybe they even have an algorithm for that. I don't know.
They may, and they may just like lock it down and then have a manual review later, because I think the only way they actually find things is either there's an AI now searching through it, or somebody complains. I think that's probably the more likely way that they find accounts that they want to kill.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Daz 1234 says Hollywood is finally burning down. Deep state is falling for sure. Boy, I hope that that's right. Hard to know who's behind it all at this point. It's not clear yet. The smoke hasn't cleared, as they say.
Yeah, it's so true. Hey, I'm going to try to do you a favor. Since I watch chat the whole time, I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to see if I can help you and plug those messages in on my side. We'll just see why we're talking here.
Okay, cool. You know how to do it.
Yep. I'm just waiting for something compelling to pop up.
So that's your cue, chat room. Put something compelling in there. Ask us a question, whatever. We have a few minutes left today.
Here you go. Our friend Joey. We'll pop his up.
Oh, Joey.
You see it?
The fog of fire. Yep.
Cool.
Go, Joey.
It's working. Awesome.
There was reports of fog in the area, and somebody was saying that aluminum oxide sprayed into that fog would increase the heat of the fires.
Yeah. Or titanium. I'm sorry. I think it's titanium oxide is the other one, according to some research on patents. Yeah, that would increase the intent. And imagine if everything was just sprayed with that. But again, tinfoil hat. No, we don't believe in conspiracies here. That's not who we are.
Show me the facts, and I'll show you the story. Right? Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I just want to thank our admins. They're absolutely amazing. They've done a wonderful job. Obviously, we want to thank Lisa for all the work she does. Christine in the background has been doing great here. Master Baggy always sends us stuff. Denise is amazing. And I'm not trying to lead out any admins, but you guys are awesome. We couldn't do it without you for sure.
I left Lisa out of doing the summit because I realized she needed a break during the holidays. But Christine really stepped up in a big way to get the summit done, and that was a lot of fun to do. That was a lot of work. You don't want to work during the holidays, but I've been doing this for 11 years now, and it's like I love doing it. So thank you to the admins that really watched that chat room. We streamed what, Lewis? 11 hours? A little over 11 hours.
Yeah, well, you did most of the work. I was kind of a fly on the wall that day.
I love you too, Master Baggy. Thank you for being all that you are to us. We appreciate it.
I was going to pop up.
Just hanging out with the folks in the chat room for a few
I was going to pop up Bruce's post, but he's got this routine now showing up an hour and 20 minutes late. So I'm not even going to acknowledge you, Bruce Poppy. Oh, I just did.
You got to love Bruce Poppy. Gotta love him. I had planned to do a show on Monday of last week, and then the day really got away from me in a big way, and there was no way to do it. But I am putting a new formula together, Lewis. I'll probably talk to you about it at some point, maybe over the weekend, trying to figure out a different strategy for doing shows that will be more in alignment with the audience, not necessarily just news and commentary, but maybe some learning in there too. I've got a couple of people that have been requesting that. It's like, you and I know so much knowledge, and we don't really share that. But maybe that's an opportunity for us to start to do that, is to give them some how-tos, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just add that to my list, Robert.
I will add it to your list. Well, you don't have to come into the Monday show. You're always invited. But if
I would love to. I would love to, actually, because that's my day off from a show. So anything to support you, I would do that.
Okay. Cool.
You think we should announce what's happening starting next week?
I think we should. We've got a few minutes left in our day here, and I'm done with my stack of stuff for today. I mean, there's a lot more on the Renegade Media channel on Telegram, so if you want to dig a little bit further into any of these stories, a lot of that stuff is there, and the videos that we share here are all there as well. So let's talk about what we're doing next week.
So starting next week, all of the shows here on ScrewBigGov, and I can say from Renegade Media also, if I can speak for you, will start 1 hour later. We are creating our own, is it daylight savings time? Are we reversing it? I don't know.
Oh yes, we're turning the clock forward for
Yes,
you.
so instead of 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, all the shows are going to start at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. The reason why, folks, is we've noticed we have a 25% jump on average right after 7 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to do our best to appease the audience as a whole, and see how that goes. But I think that's a prime, and also it's perfect because if I'm traveling to the East Coast, I have an opportunity to eat dinner and get back by the time of the show, and there's still enough time for me to have a decent evening if I'm on the West Coast. So it's kind of I think it'll be great for everybody. On average, I know there'll be a couple of people go, "Oh no, you're moving in an hour," but I think on whole, at least 90% of the people will approve of it being pushed to 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern will be the new times.
1997. I was doing teleseminars back then. You get a bunch of people on a telephone call and you do presentations that way. I was invited onto one. Then I started doing my own. And what I learned was the sweet spot was always 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. It was like the best time, the biggest audience. That was the time to hit it. So we're definitely moving in the right direction with changing the hour.
Yeah, good. I had to fail for all these years to figure that out, though. You already knew it.
I already knew it. I share it. I let people know whether they do something with it or not. Well, that's not my child. Nothing I can do there. A coach really is just like the waiter in a restaurant. I always share this analogy. I think it's the best way to understand the coach. The coach will listen to what you want, right? You have the menu. You'll order what you want. He'll go back, get you all the food, bring it to you, put it on the table, set it up really nice, maybe even put a napkin in your lap. But that's it. He can't take the fork and shove it down your throat. It's like we want to as coaches sometimes to do that, but you can't do that. You got to know where that line is, and you got to stop at that point, and people have to either take it or not take it.
Yep, agreed. Absolutely agreed.
The challenge, the life of being a coach and helping people out. Well,
Yeah.
the other thing that's important is you don't help anybody unless they specifically ask for the help.
Well, and that kind of goes along with my theory on waking people up. You speak to people where they are, not where you want them to be.
Correct.
And unless you can lock them down in a chair while they're getting their hair done, and they're not going to go anywhere with scissors in your hand, then you have a special advantage that most people don't have.
Yep. Hobbit says it too. I'm only a waitress. You have to eat the food. Exactly right. And that's what we do here. We bring it to you. We give you the buffet of news. And, from there, you want to dig deeper, you're certainly welcome to. If you want to say we got something wrong, we love to hear that as well, because we like to get it right. And we're happy to correct whatever we may have misspoken about. And in something like these fires, I'm going to tell you, the news shifts by the hour sometimes. So what we're talking about now may not be the case on Monday. It may be a little bit different as we learn more, as we say, as the smoke clears. People ask, Lewis, how long these fires burn for? Because it seems like, this started on Tuesday. We're now Friday. Uh-huh. Do you know that the Palisades fire is only 8% contained?
Yeah, it's crazy.
As of today? What? 8%? They should have had that thing out. No. Where it burned through, it died because there was no more fuel.
Right.
The houses were burned to the ground. There's nothing left to burn. It's concrete and steel. It's all that's left. Otherwise, it keeps burning. So, we've been locked out here for as long as almost a week when the fires come through. So, they just burn and burn and burn. They're so massive. You don't realize the scale until you're actually near one of these things. It's like, it looks like it's just over there, but it could be 10 miles away because it's so massive.
Yeah, they're huge, huge.
Well, with that, I think we will wrap up today's journey. I think that's what we call it, right? A journey.
It's been a great journey too. It's been a wonderful week. Can't wait for the next 2 weeks and see how the inauguration goes. That's going to be fun to watch. But we've got a lot going on next week. So guys, pay attention. It's going to be a lot of fun. And make sure if you want to get a silver coin and win a silver coin, just go to our show tomorrow. Myself and Matt Geiger are going to have a lot of fun.
So the inauguration is on Monday the 20th. Is it Monday the 20th?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yep, looks like it.
20th. Okay, great. Well, we're going to do something on that day for sure. We'll do some kind of show. So with that, I wish you a great weekend, my friend Lewis, and everyone watching. Thank you so much for being here on a Friday afternoon. Hope your week was great, and hopefully your weekend will be even greater. And remember, if you're frying a turkey in grease and fat, that can cause a fire. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Not even Thanksgiving.
Love you, Robert.
Thank you, Lewis. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife.
I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me.
And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt
I love this
land.
God bless the USA.
God bless the USA.
Am I the only one willing to bleed, or take a bullet for being free? Screaming what the hell at my TV for telling me, yeah, you're telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue. Burning on the ground, another statue coming down in a town near you. Watching the threads of old glory come undone. Am I the only one?
One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
'Cause there ain't no doubt